Welcome back to the next installment of our multi-part series on Block. In part 1, we explored how Block grew Square from its inception into a $150 billion payments business with multiple layers of competitive advantage wrapped around its profitability. In part 2 today, we will explore how Block took these learnings and created an independently successful US consumer fintech called Cash App. Let's dig in. Cash App was created in 2013 at an internal company hackathon as a way for consumers to make electronic peer-to-peer payments. At the time, its creators were looking for an easy way for people to split bills at a restaurant or transfer money to friends and family. This may sound simple to many Australian investors, but it was a service made difficult by the Byzantine US consumer banking system. At the time, the ability for Cash App to build a network of users seemed unlikely. Venmo, which is now owned by PayPal, was already established as a major peer-to-peer platform, while Google had launched its own version. Arguably, the opportunity for a late entrance to scale should never have existed. Despite these obstacles, Cash App has reached 80 million annual active users and is dominant across nearly half the United States. How it got there is a story of first-class execution across both product and marketing. Back in 2013, the initial product release was a very simple way to send money over email, allowing users to avoid navigating the traditional banking system, which often involved physically lining up at the local bank branch. A user would enter a dollar amount into the subject line, address the email to the intended recipient, and CC a Square designated email. The receiver would then access the cash by creating a Square account with a linked debit card. To enhance usability and simplicity, the company then released a mobile application, renamed as Cash App in 2014, and introduced a new identity mechanism called the Cash Tag in 2015. This allowed users to make payments to one another without needing a recipient's email address or mobile number. The company's critical insight was that despite the existence of Venmo at the time, no service existed that would guarantee these money transfers were instant, rather than waiting 2 to 3 days for transferred funds to clear through the banking system. By using its own balance sheet, Square was able to launch an instant transfer service for a small fee, and customers loved it. Cash App's initial stronghold was developed in the southeast of the US as word spread amongst the underbanked community about the easy-to-use, fast and free money transfer service. A continually improving customer experience allowed the peer-to-peer nature of its money transfer service to unlock a self-reinforcing customer growth. Early adopters started inviting family and friends into the network, typically by sending money to them via the app. Reaching 1 million active users in 2015, Cash App proved that its concept had a competitive advantage and a right to exist. Block then set out to build Cash App's scale by leveraging its superior customer experience and user-led viral growth strategy. The company then caught onto a social trend which became known as Cash App Friday, where users would make personal appeals for money to each other on social media along with their cash tag. In 2017, Cash App jumped on board the trend. Rather than marketing through traditional online channels such as Google and Facebook to acquire customers, the company participated directly in Cash App Friday, incentivizing app downloads by giving money to customers either directly or via A-list celebrities and influencers. In one example, Travis Scott tweeted that he was giving away $100,000 to fans on Cash App, and the tweet received 120,000 replies. There were other surprising aspects of Cash App's virality, such as music creators referencing Cash App in their lyrics. It was clear that the product and brand was resonating strongly with its users, and Cash App invested in amplifying the resonance by financially supporting and partnering with artists, which tied back to the viral social media marketing initiatives. The brand's strategy to fuse Cash App with parts of America's subculture allowed it to soften the edge of its money-related app, similar to how Square positions its brand in contrast to the typical highbrow financial institution. The growth strategy proved successful and drove a doubling in reported active customers every year from 2015, reaching 15 million users by 2018, with the cost of acquiring each customer a mere $5. With micro-network effects amongst its users driving growth and its unique brand positioning becoming established, Cash App began building stronger, hard-to-copy and non-substitutable elements around its business to enhance its competitive sustainability. Early on, Cash App progressively developed a strong IP ecosystem by rolling out features to increase the utility for consumers, aligning with its mission of making the world's relationship with money more relatable, instantly available, and universally accessible. Starting in 2016, Cash App rolled out features beyond peer-to-peer payment functionality. It offered the ability to store funds in the app and launched the Cash Card to enable spending by its users. This led to Cash App going deeper into the East and West Coast markets of the US, with stronger adoption amongst millennials. In 2017, a number of product developments followed. The company released custom physical debit cards, and that allowed ATM withdrawals for the first time. It then allowed the ability to take direct deposits into Cash App via paychecks or tax refunds. And then it launched a Boost rewards program offering value to its consumers at key merchants, which was then followed by fractional stock and Bitcoin trading. The biggest benefit from the company's fast development cadence became evident during COVID-19. As the economy locked down in March 2020, the US government announced stimulus checks which would be immediately available for citizens with bank information on file with the IRS for tax purposes. The problem, however, was that 14% of Americans with income under $40,000 didn't have a bank account, and many of them did not earn enough to file tax returns. Upon receiving a stimulus check, many of them would have to then rely on expensive cash checking services to access the money. By April, the IRS launched a tool for US citizens without historically filing a tax return to access stimulus funds directly. Hours later, Cash App responded by launching a feature which gave users a routing number and account number to allow direct access to government stimulus payments. This meant that users didn't need to sign up for traditional bank accounts or wait for a check in the mail. The agile product development unlocked massive user growth as peer-to-peer nature of Cash App's user base spread the word about the app's growing utility. Cash App rocketed past Venmo for the first time in search popularity, adding 12 million new active customers alone in 2020, reaching 36 million total by the end of the year. Cash App has continually proven itself as an innovative leader amongst its peers. In what we see as an underappreciated move, Block launched Cash App for Teens in late 2021. On the surface, this is a smart way for Cash App to expand its market size and move early on the underserved 13 to 18 teenage market. But at a deeper level, it provides Cash App with a sharper spearhead into Venmo's geographic stronghold by establishing user relationships earlier in their life. These younger users then onboard family members as part of their setup process, and early money management circles spark new networks, proving Block understands how to leverage network advantages better than most. It's not difficult to imagine Cash App going one step further, going earlier into the customer's life cycle, maybe launching Cash App Kids, a sub-account under parental custody, just to educate kids about using money and having things like weekly chore lists and having custom interest rates or savings goals. As the consistent pace of product releases continues, Cash App will move closer to building a modern, consumer-first banking alternative and realize its vision of redefining the world's relationship with money. In doing so, however, it runs the risk of overwhelming the user experience and becoming the very thing it sought to redefine, the unapproachable financial institution. We do believe, however, that Block's cultural obsession with maximizing the customer experience will be the defining characteristic of its ongoing success. Historically, there have been multiple evolutions of Cash App's navigational architecture aimed at unburying features previously lost by bringing them closer to the surface and optimizing them for a more intuitive user flow. In contrast, Venmo has stuck with its public user transaction social feeds, as it believes the feature is a very definition of a social network. This is described by many commentators as creepy, and historically, Venmo has been scrutinized by regulators for the privacy shortcoming for its user base. Venmo did not close its global feed or give users the ability to set privacy settings for their friends lists until 2021. And even today, transactions are still public by default to friend circles. Leveraging the lessons from Square's growth playbook, such as the importance of a customer obsession, combined with a creative go-to-market, Cash App has turned into a US consumer finance powerhouse with 80 million annual active users and the number one ranked finance app across both Google and Apple stores since 2017. Despite its historic success, we think the most exciting part of Cash App's journey lies ahead. And in part 3, we will explore the opportunity Block has ahead as it converges its networks through the introduction of Cash App Commerce.
If you enjoyed this episode of Redefining Active Investing, please don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please remember to read the disclaimer in the show notes. If you would like to learn more about ECP Asset Management and the way we think about investing, please visit our website at ecpam.com, subscribe to our blog, or follow us on LinkedIn.